Alrighty y'all, this is World Class Jerk, and today we are going to be doing the extenders, the power switch, and the splitter all in one video for a tutorial. I know it sounds too good to be true, but yes, we are doing 3 tutorials in one because that's just how we roll here on the World Class Jerk channel. We believe in work ethic, we believe in quality work, and so that's what that's all about. And also, to top it off, to make it all better, we're doing another chart in today's video, another professionally made chart in Microsoft Paint, if I do say so myself. What a glorious thing, and since we already know what's going to go on the chart, by the way, we'll just go ahead and put those in their places now. You can see the order we're going to do them in, left to right. Well, actually, okay, look, we're doing extenders, then the switch, then the splitter. That is the order we're doing things in today, but we don't want to keep you here too long. So, we're going to get straight into this video now. But before we do, you should join my Discord, link in the description. To become a jerk today, you should hit the notification bell, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and leave comments and suggestions. But without further ado, we're actually going to get into it now. And so, as you can see on the chart, and as we already previously discussed, the first thing we're going to be covering in today's video is the extenders. Now, let's set up an example here. Let's say our friend John, our fellow Astroneer John, he's not the smartest of the bunch, so he decides he's going to charge his battery at a questionable distance. But his cord, his power cable, it cannot reach. So what is John to do? Well, he could put a platform in between them, yes, but that might be sore on the eyes. Maybe we don't want to see something like that, and so we could use the extenders. Now, I will say, there are other reasons to use the extenders other than the fact that they look better than platforms, and we'll get into that here in like a couple of seconds. But I did just want to make sure that you understood that it's not just that it's smaller and looks better, there are other reasons. But when we plug this in, the first thing you're going to notice is that there are arrows going towards the battery, which means, yes, this is directional power, which can be useful to you. That's one reason why you might want to use this over just a platform to connect things. But yes, as you can see, when the arrows are going the wrong way, it will not do anything at all. It does matter. It is directional power. It goes in the direction of the arrows, and strictly in the direction of the arrows. The battery does not charge when the power is going away from it. But another thing to point out is that this comes in packages of 5, which does give it a small edge over the platforms, but it does cost a little bit more than platforms, so that's a reason why you might want to use platforms in some situations. But the extenders are useful for more than that, because if you want to do long distance, like extending, then you would want to use extenders because putting platforms that far, kind of ridiculous. And also any situation, obviously, where you want there to be directional power is when you use the extenders. And also it does look better. I don't know if I already said that. This is kind of weird. But anyways, the other, something to keep in mind here is just like platforms, if you have an oxygenator attached to the system that these are on, it will carry oxygen as well as power. But that's not a very big detail. Just make sure that you understand. It does carry oxygen all the same, just like power to where it's going. But as you can see right now, we have 2 more slots at the bottom of our little chart here to explain 2 left details, which are obviously the bytes and the crafting recipe, the only things we have not covered so far. And so for the bytes, you will need 500 bytes to unlock the extenders, and you will need a single copper to craft this thing, which is why it can be annoying to use this instead of platforms for just a quick connection. But again, anything elaborate, you should want to use extenders because it's just a better idea. Moving on though, we have the switch, which I might have lied, this might be more basic than the extenders because a few things we discussed about the extenders are pretty much going to carry over to this, so I don't have to go elaborate on it as much. But yes, the switch is pretty dang basic because it's exactly what you think. Just like a light switch in your house, when you turn it on, power flows, and that's just that. Now, obviously, there are a couple things to point out again. It does have directional power. That's something to point out. And also, it can be affected externally. So let's just randomly get an example here. Let's say we have a button repeater or anything else that does activation. We can indeed use that on the switch, which is why it can actually be used in different forms of automation. But we don't really want to get into that in this video because that is kind of a deeper topic than what is necessary to get into. But yes, just know that it can disable/enable power. And it is something that can be externally affected. But on the screen now, you can see that we actually have obviously the spots for the crafting and the bytes cost. And so for the bytes, we're going to have 750 bytes to unlock this thing. And it costs a single copper, just like the power extenders. So that's that. Alright guys, time for the splitter. And so we are going to start off by explaining real quick actually that the switch here, it's not relevant. I'm just using it for normal switch reasons. We're just covering the splitter here, so don't let this confuse you. It's not relevant. We're just covering the splitter. But the splitter, basically, it can combine 2 power streams, or it can split 1 power stream into 2. And obviously this depends on which direction the cable is flowing. And so that's the use of directional power. But also, yes, that means that this is directional power. That's one of the things on our list here. It is directional power, but yes, it could either combine these 2. Oh, hang on a second. But yes, it can combine 2, for example, like this, like this, going the opposite direction. So you can combine two, or it can actually split one into two. It can do either. So keep that in mind. It's not just a splitter. It can be a combiner too, so to speak. And so I'm really trying hard here to connect the cables. I'm running out of stuff to say while I stall that out. But anyways, yes, here we go. So as you can see, at first, without altering it at all, it splits the power directly evenly. We have 4 units of power coming from our RTG. It flows into this, and then 2 units of power goes out each side. Simple as that. The thing to know about the splitter here, the thing about it, the thing, like why it's useful instead of just using platforms to disperse your energy, is because you can control it. You can control how much power goes to one or the other. You can completely shut one off if you want, but probably not always so useful to do that. But let's say we want 1 unit of power going to one and 3 going to the other. Well, you can obviously see which is which. This one's charging way faster over here, and so you can do that. You can divert the power however you want with the splitter, and so that's that. But, that's that. But world-class jerk, I want to combine more than just 2 wires. Well, don't worry, my friends. That's completely possible by adding splitters. So as you can see here, we have 4 different cables going into one right here to charge this battery with batteries, which makes absolutely no sense. It's just an example. So don't get confused there. The battery's charging the battery. It doesn't have any meaning behind it. I'm just showing you that you can combine 4 wires here, for example, by putting these 2 into one splitter, these 2 into another splitter, and then combining the splitters with a splitter. A lot of splitters here, but it can only get worse. Like, it can get even worse, rather, because you can add more splitters to do this more and more. You can combine as many as you want, and you can split into as many as you want just by adding splitters the correct amount of times. But my friends, that's all there is to say about the splitter. So now we're going to get on to the bytes and the cost of this thing, which for the bytes, we're going to want 1,000 bytes, and for the crafting recipe, we're going to want a single copper, just like the others, but also a single graphite. So that's something to keep in mind here. You do need a graphite for this, an extra graphite, but that's not expensive, so nobody cares. But my friends, we're just going to abruptly jump into an outro here, because there's really not that much left to say about these 3 items. They are pretty dang simple. That's why we were able to put them all in a single video. Now, the uses you can have for these items is practically endless, but the base, like how they work, not so advanced after all, so not a whole lot left to say. But hey, definitely tell me what you think about the charts. I want to see it, alright? Somebody better leave a scale of 1 to 10 of how great my charts are, because I just love my charts. But anyways, you should hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, join my Discord link in the description to become a jerk today. You should tap that notification bell and leave comments and suggestions. Somebody better tell me how good my charts are, or I'm going to be very upset. Have a nice day, though. Have a nice day.